Hello, I am the Irish guy, and Happy Christmas! What are you doing here with me? Have you really turned down Christmas dinner with your mum to whack on a sad little Q&A from some oafish Irish beanbag who keeps making fun of Steve Cooper's face when he himself looks like a hobbit gone wrong? Lads, today is Christmas. Not really. I mean, did you actually go to record this on Christmas Day? I think if I did that, my mum would slap me in the face. Well, lads, no. Today is Christmas. And I hope you all got that toy fire truck and bag of sweeties of Santa Claus. I'm acting like everyone who watches this video is 4 years of age. But listen, let's just fire out a Christmas Q&A. I'm back in Ireland for a couple of days. Not long. I'll be back very soon. But this is just something weird and different. Just in case you are sick of watching Love Actually for the third goddamn time. Ozzy, is anyone actually gonna watch this on Christmas? Surely not. Surely you're not sneaking off from hanging out with your grandmother to just sneakily watch this on your phone in the toilet. Well, lads, I asked you all for questions on Twitter. So yeah, again, I would ask you though, if you really are choosing to watch this on actual Christmas Day, I'm very confused. Would you not rather watch that Batman film on telly? Or play charades with your granddad? Or at the very least, do a Christmas poo on the kitchen floor as a treat? Yeah, don't actually do that. I'll get angry email complaints from your mum. But right, let's see. Okay, I'm excited to see what interesting, highbrow, innovative questions you've all decided to ask.
How does it feel to celebrate Christmas alone in a basement?
Oh, come on!
Would you rather mouths for ears or ears for mouths?
Yeah, this isn't exactly Jeremy Paxman, is it?
Do you really talk like that?
Like what?
Does your mom hate you?
If I had a funeral tomorrow, she'd be dancing to Taylor Swift in the aisle. Well, that's a grim, scary image.
What is your vendetta against Villa? From believing Coutinho would never sign for them to acting disillusioned Emery would ever replace Steven Gerrard.
You know what? Fair play. I do not have a vendetta against Aston Villa. No way. But I will admit, I think I did underestimate the size and ambition and pulling factor of the club. Maybe it's because I was stung in 2009. When I told everyone at school that I thought they would win the league, yeah, I might as well have stood up on a chair and announced to the world that I fancied my own teddy bear. I might as well have just walked up to the most popular girl in school and belched vomit in her eye, telling people he thought Villa would be Premier League champions. When they had Gabby Bonlor munching Big Macs up front, it was not cool. And yeah, I will admit, I did not think the club could entice a big name like Philippe Coutinho. I should have known better though, because he's since proven to be a washed up guarded gnome with all the hunger and drive of Deji in a gym. But lads, it only feels like 10 minutes ago I was watching Villa finish bottom of the Premier League, 20 places below Leicester City. Maybe I do need to change my viewpoint of Villa now, because even now, I'm still saying that when Unai Emery goes, that you'll be back to appointing uninspiring, unexciting coaches like Laurent Blanc, Rudy Garcia, or Troy Deeney. I'd be like Newcastle, when they landed on absolute magic and Rafa Benitez. But once he was gone, they were back to hiring Steve Bruce. Mike Ashley was even trying to get Sam Allardyce back to the club. Honestly, Ashley was ringing both Allardyce and Steve Bruce, two former Sunderland managers. What was he thinking? But you know what? When Emery does leave Villa, for someone like Real Madrid, if he has left them in at the very least, the Europa League, then you know what? Maybe the club can attract Jose Mourinho. I mean, Ancelotti wound up at Everton, so why not?
What do you think is the peak of your YouTube career so far?
I don't know about peak, but the most fun thing I did was, I never actually did a video about this, but back in November 2021, #United put on a 24-hour football challenge, a game lasting the entire day and night. I have no idea who won. There was about 1,000 goals scored. But yeah, it was a game featuring mostly YouTubers and hashtag players, and I didn't know this, but ex-Premier League stars? I didn't know that. I thought I'd be just trying to nutmeg the likes of Chris MD and Morgs. Nah. As soon as I turn up, I'm joined on the pitch by Anton Ferdinand and Marlon Harewood. On the opposing team, lads, I remember vividly watching them both. Harewood played for Newcastle. Lads, I went to school with somebody who was marked by Ferdinand in a pre-season friendly back in Limerick, and when he was at Sunderland. I thought that was surreal. So yeah, I mean, I stuck a few goals past Anton, who weirdly had a stint in goal, but I fancy myself as a dribbler. Every time I picked up that ball, I made a beeline for Harewood. If I could just dribble past him even once, it would make my entire existence. Nah, he smashed me into next week. Even now, my ribs feel like a battered Christmas tree, and I want to do more football related videos. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to turn into Theo Bake overnight, but I want to do more videos where I can actually have the ball at my feet.
Do you think that you could have become a professional footballer?
If I started playing football at the age of 2, if I was out there doing sit-ups and practicing volleys before I could talk, then yeah, maybe. But otherwise, oh god, no.
What is the biggest surprise that you've seen on Boxing Day football?
probably Phil Brown giving his whole City squad a literal halftime team talk on the pitch whilst being 4-0 down at Man City. Yeah, that's a real way to connect with your multi-millionaire egos and Paul McShane. It would be like if Justin Bieber's manager takes him out for a steak and then proceeds to berate him in front of the watching paparazzi. Yeah, you'll be lucky not to get a fork in your face.
Who would you call out for a boxing match?
Lawrence Boovy. I am blocked. The guy has blocked me on Twitter. Why? The only thing I've blocked is my toilet. Lads, I have no earthly clue why Lawrence seems to despise. I don't know what's going on. He also, he called out True Geordie to a boxing match.
I'd fight True Geordie on Misfits.
Yeah. I think that is about as likely as me growing a twin out of my neck. It would be like a fight with a bloodthirsty, hungry Viking who feasts on steak and tiger teeth every day versus some bloke who reads X-Men comics and flicks his snot at women on the bus. So yeah, this guy filled in for me on the previous channel, which must not be named, over at Christmas break back in 2019. So there is a bit of history there. Why not, LB?
What was your favourite ever match that you attended in person? Either for pure enjoyment or a memorable moment?
Newcastle 4, PSG 1. Mental. Oh, I said too much. Ireland 2, Moldova 0. Daryl Murphy with 2. 2017.
Favourite goal scored during an international tournament which is not from an Irish player?
Not from an Irish player. Oh, interesting. And the most iconic goal for me was all the way back at Euro 2004. Again, I was a little child, but it was the first group stage match, and Match Magazine had programmed me into thinking that England were red hot favourites to win the whole thing, and they were 1-0 up against France until the dying embers of the match. It looked like Frank Lampard had given England an important 1-0 win. Then, in the final minute, Zinedine Zidane smacks in an incredible free kick. I just remember the Irish commentary screaming,
My word!
and yeah, it was razor sharp, inch perfect. An incredible equalizer. It was the first game I'd ever watched Zizou play, and so to see that was amazing. And what makes it even more incredible is that 1 minute later, he was scoring a match-winning penalty. Just greatness. Does anyone else remember that one? Or am I just older than a tree?
Out of all the forfeits you got to do, which one is your least favourite so far?
Patrick Bamford Tattoo. Lads, there was no avoiding that one for me. When Leeds finished top half in 2021, there was no escaping that forfeit. I went on the highlights video that Sky Sports uploaded. Every single comment is about me and that god-awful tattoo. Couldn't escape it. Even Bamford himself was asked about it in an interview. He called my foot rotten.
The foot is gross. Yeah, his foot's rotten. That's a shocker, isn't it? It is, but that's his own fault. He deserves it. Yeah, he deserves it.
If there was any signing in football you could prevent, which one would it be and why?
Any signing in football that I could have stopped happening? Michael Owen to Newcastle United. It was a transfer which made everyone miserable in the long run. He's a guy who has said he only signed a 4-year deal at St. James's Park on monster money, quitting Real Madrid for them, just so he could move to Liverpool a year later, in 2006. To me, that is the height of fakeness in football. This is a man who was unveiled as Newcastle's monster sign in front of a packed stadium, a bunch of excited Geordies screaming his name, and in the back of his mind, he has admitted he was just treating this as just an expensive, highly paid 1-year loan move, just so he could play regular games ahead of the World Cup and then get a move back to Anfield. I think if Owen had not joined Newcastle, it would have changed everything. Raheem Souness could have got his wish and gone out there and signed Nicolas Anelka from Fenerbahce instead, who was true star quality. And the strike force of him and Alan Shearer would have been stupidly good. And Anelka wouldn't have been at Stamford Bridge to miss that penalty in Moscow, so he might not have ruined John Terry's life. And Liverpool could have got Michael Owen back. It would have just made everyone a lot happier.
Thoughts on the current state of your old channel?
It happens, okay? It's a part of life. People leave channels, they go in different directions. Football Daily is going through a similar transitional period at the minute. It's just how it is. I wish them all the best.
Any mates you knew from schooling life that went pro?
Just one. Garvin Coughlin. He was in my school. He went on to play professional football in New Zealand. Yeah, he was probably being marked by a sheep up against, let's be honest, family outcasts who were probably shunned at school for opting out of rugby lessons. Honestly, if you're a Kiwi and you have to tell your dad that you prefer soccer to rugby, he would probably digest the news better if you told him that you like to have twins with your cousin. But yeah, weirdly, Garvin is now a technical director in New Zealand. Fair play. I went on a school football trip to Prague with him once. We played against the Sparta Prague under-13s team, and we were well up to 21-0. But I remember, even as a kid, he scored a bicycle kick in training on that trip. I knew he was good. He went on to have trials at Aston Villa, but yeah, he's done very well. But who's done even better is his brother. His younger brother, Ronan. He was in the Huddersfield Academy for 3 years, and this season has 37 goals in 35 games for Waterford. Yes, that little brother, who used to spend his lunch break eating Skittles on his own, is one of the best players in Ireland.
Crazy. Favourite band?
Oasis.
What is one football what if that you always wonder about?
Well, the Thierry Henry handball, if he had not cheated Ireland out of the 2010 World Cup, but, you know, aside from that obvious one, for pure satisfaction, I would have loved to have seen what would have happened if Steven Gerrard did not slip. For me, that was just too cruel beyond belief. I think that Gerrard lifting the Premier League title when he least expected it in 2014 in his mid-30s, after he'd already given up on title races ever since Rafa Benitez was sacked, it would have been a beautiful redemption story. It would have completely justified this man repeatedly rejecting guaranteed trophies at Chelsea under Jose Mourinho. I think it would have been the modern day Premier League version of the Michael Jordan story. You know, when he came back from baseball to win a bunch of stuff, that would have been English football's last dance. To me, that would have almost been as romantic a fairy tale story as Leicester City to finally get his grubby paws on a Premier League title at the last minute when he thought it was over. And all because he spent the previous summer persuading Luis Suarez not to move to Arsenal. Lads, that trophy would have meant more to him than any other captain in the history of the Premier League. Just to be able to see his face, to see that guy bursting into tears as they were finally able to win it. I'm not a Liverpool fan, but that would have been amazing. But instead, he's just had to spend the last 9 years listening to slip jokes. It's completely spoilt his whole career. He probably doesn't even like remembering his days as a player, because it's just ruined by remembering that awful, horrible moment. A bit like Game of Thrones. That entire TV show is ruined because the final season was so rushed and terrible. And to me, for Gerrard, that really is sad. Even I think he's still got unfinished business.
Who do you think is the best ever right back in Premier History and why?
Kyle Walker. It's funny, when he first burst on the scene with Tottenham, back in the Harry Redknapp days, most people made up their mind that he was a frighteningly quick player, yes, but about as defensively sound as a melted cream egg. The improvement that man has made is outstanding. That move to Manchester City in 2017 was the most important transfer a defender has ever made, because if he hadn't done that, and if they'd instead signed Dani Alves, which they tried to do, he would now just be another Tottenham nearly man. I mean, we've seen what staying at Tottenham did to Danny Rose, but going to City, he's probably had the biggest improvement of any Man City signing. He played nearly 300 times for the club, winning 5 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, a Champions League, a UEFA Super Cup. He's like the right-back version of Ashley Cole. And I guarantee you, before he moved to Man City, most of you would have said the same thing.
Oh, he's fast, but he can't defend.
Lads, this fella is such a complete defender. He can even play as a centre back too. World class.
Greatest match you ever saw on TV.
Liverpool 3, AC Milan 3, Istanbul Champions League final in 2005, probably. That was a mental moment, but you know what? Again, going back to the childhood, AC Milan versus Deportiva La Coruña. I remember watching it on my little Irish television and being blown away as a child. Walter Pattiani had given the Spanish team the lead, but then I witnessed 8 minutes of magic. 45 minutes. Kaka scores for Milan. 46 minutes. Andrei Shevchenko scores for Milan. 49 minutes. Kaka scores another for Milan. 53 minutes. Andrea Pirlo curls in a free kick for Milan. That was just an explosion of goals. They were rampant. It was absolute magic. From such a star-studded team, Kaka was quickly cementing himself as my favourite player in the world. And what's even more bizarre, Milan won the first leg 4-1, right? They then crumbled and lost the second leg 4-0 in Spain. Carlo Ancelotti was lucky not to be sacked on the spot.
Which manager of Sam Allardyce or Tony Pulis would you like to see return to the Premier League?
It's a bit like asking whether I'd rather drink cat vomit through a straw or share a bed with the town drunk. I don't know. Pulis, I guess?
Would you come to Trinidad and Tobago on holiday?
I was in Trinidad and Tobago when they were in the World Cup. When Peter Crouch yanked Brett Sancho's hair to open the scoring in the 80th minute, I was watching that in a Trinidad airport. Honestly, that entire nation stood still for that World Cup. It was party fever, and I was just a little boy. I celebrated with a glass of orange juice.
Why did you name yourself the Irish Guy?
I didn't. Back on the previous channel, I remember I stopped doing videos for about a week in the summer of 2017. James replaced me, and he got a load of comments saying, "Where is the Irish Guy?" And thus, the Powerpuff Girls were the Irish Guy was, yeah. Anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope you did not watch that on Christmas. Oh, honestly, go and spend it with your family. But lads, if you did watch the video, whoa, you were absolute legends, all of you, lads. In all seriousness, I hope you had a great Christmas. I'm sitting out the Boxing Day games, but I will be back later on this week in a couple of days, okay? Just give me 2 days, okay? I will be back. Just, yeah. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to get extra as always. I'll talk to you in a while. Merry Christmas! It's weird, isn't it?